going to move to our consent agenda at this time. I want to call on the County Administrator, Mr. Byron Brooks, to present the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor Demings. Don't have any changes to the consent agenda, so staff presents the consent agenda for board consideration.
All right. With that, is there a motion?
So moved, Uribe.
Motion by Commissioner Uribe, second by Commissioner Gomez Cordero. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion passes, and it is unanimous. With the action that just took place on the consent agenda, I'm going to make some notes about what we just voted on, and then Commissioner Wilson, I'll come to you in just a moment. I'd like to highlight various items. Sometimes on the consent agenda, there are items that have significant impact on our community. Our Citizens Commission for Children has nearly a dozen items on today's agenda through the Orange County Children's Services Fund to serve over 12,435 residents across the county through various contracts. The common thread across many of these initiatives is working with Orange County families to serve youth of all ages. Objectives under these initiatives include bolstering creativity, building critical thinking and problem-solving capabilities, providing mentorship, and championing health and wellness, among others, to set up future generations for prosperity. We got to see our youth on display this morning. A $1.5 million countywide program will provide child care for domestic violence survivors and homeless persons who are precariously housed or precariously housed families who are getting back on their feet. Other efforts include an early literacy program, a mentoring initiative for justice-involved youth, a STEM and workplace development effort, physical fitness, and healthy eating initiatives, among others. Nearly $500,000 will be allocated to internship opportunities within Orange County government for high school students during the summer break. Throughout this 7-week program, 35 high school students will be able to work 31 hours per week, where they will cultivate a wide range of skills as they transition into adulthood. Also, our Parks and Recreation Division is working with the Florida Department of Transportation on the Coast to Coast Trail Orange County CAP segment. The 3.6-mile project will extend the trail from the intersection of North Hiawassee Road and Claricona-Ocoee Road to just north of State Road 414. So there are a number of initiatives there that we wanted to highlight. With that, I'm going to go to Commissioner Wilson and then Commissioner Moore, who may have additional comments. Commissioner Wilson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I did actually originally want to pull this just so that we would have an opportunity to discuss it, but I really don't want to hold it up. So I appreciate having a couple of moments to point out that within procurement on this agenda, there was a change order for the final design of Reams Road from Summer Lake Park Boulevard to Taborfield Avenue. This change order was for professional engineering services, basically in regard to what they see as unstable surface. They call it muck, and I'm not a road engineer, but once again, we're talking about a wetland. We all know it's a wetland. We've known it's a wetland. And so, but the part that I think is important is to identify that this particular item will add an additional 270 days to the project timeframe. But if you look at the various amendments that have come through, and you all saw back a few months ago when we talked about the safety concerns along Reams Road, the original mailer that went out, the newsletter that went out to residents, that would have had us, had we been with the original timeline, completing sort of the first leg of that this year. As we know, they haven't even begun construction out there. And so even with this update, there's a timeline that is inaccurate on the commencement date. So, but if you go back, if you look at Amendment 1, Amendment 2 back in 22, contract in time increased 189 days. Amendment 4 in 23, contract time extended by 279 days. Back in November, contract time. Now, I know those are contract times, so the project itself, potentially that is an kind of an overestimation. But I think the most important overreaching point that I want you to take from this is that they're not completed the design yet. They have not begun construction yet. The timeline, even from the last communication we had from this dais, was inaccurate and will continue to be based on this amendment. I want the amendment to go through. They need to do it right. We need a bridge over the wetland. I'm happy that they're doing it right. But I need to make sure that we take every opportunity we can to keep the residents in this area safe. Right now, the road that was in place and has been in place for a long time is the only ingress and egress for employees of Disney, has eroded on the sides. There's poor shoulders. It is single lane back and forth. It is dark. It is dangerous. And it is very, very wet. A normal rainstorm has sitting water on it. After the Hurricane Ian, you all know it was closed for several weeks. After Milton, it was flooded and people were just taking their chances. And so I just wanted to highlight that we will continue to be struggling with this for years to come. And at this point, we just need to make decisions to keep people safe until it is built and built right. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Wilson, you don't have any disagreement, I don't believe, with anybody on the board. We all want some resolution as soon as possible with the whole Reams Road area because of the significant impacts that it has on the residents and those who travel that area. So we look forward to getting this project done. With that, Commissioner Moore.
Yes, on a happier note. So I just wanted to highlight all the work that's being done on trails in the western part of the county. And so there was a notice to proceed on the Lake Apopka Connector Trail down McCormick Road. And we're seeing the collaboration with the state of Florida for the Coast to Coast Trail. And we're making really good progress on the northern connection through Pine Hills. So thank you, Mayor, to Parks and Rec staff for making all these come to pass. And this body does a lot of things, and recreation is something that's very important to us. And so I encourage you all to come and visit all of our trails in Northwest Orange County soon. And to celebrate that, one of my community groups already had a mural painted at the intersection of those trails welcoming people to the Coast to Coast Trail. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. We're going to move forward now on our agenda. We'll move to the discussion agenda. Ms. Carrie Mathis.